The quaint town of Cary, North Carolina was steeped in an unspoken serenity that dawn, a serenity that lingered in the early morning fog rolling through the streets, clung to the dew-drenched magnolias, and whispered through the sun-kissed facades of suburban homes. Yet beneath this veil of tranquility stirred a discordant hum, an off-key note in an otherwise harmonious symphony. In this understated town lived Sam Hawthorne, a figure etched with lines of age and the weight of unspoken secrets. His hair, like winter snow on the boughs of an old tree, bore a stark contrast to his deep-set eyes, the color of aged bourbon and just as intoxicating. It was in those eyes that one could glimpse the quiet generosity of his spirit and the fair steadiness that carried him through the trials of his life. His office, a haven of sorts, was an organized chaos of scattered papers, cold coffee mugs, and towers of well-worn books. Here Sam began his day, immersed in the scent of old paper and half-forgotten memories. A troubling financial document lay spread-eagled on his desk, hinting at the fraud within Cary's beloved community mall. During the course of his investigation, he would often frequent the mall, its glassy expanse and bustling chatter, a jarring contrast to his silent solitude. It was here he encountered Sarah, a young cashier with sparkling green eyes and a laugh that echoed the very vitality of life. Sarah, like many others, brushed off the odd incidents at the mall as unimportant quirks. But Sam sensed a chilling undertone beneath the mundane. "Sam, it's silly, I know," she said one day, her voice barely above a whisper, her hands absently fiddling with her apron. "But sometimes, late in the evenings when I'm closing up, the lights flicker and a cold chill seizes the place. It's as if someone's watching." Intrigued, he found himself navigating the mall's labyrinthine passages after hours, shrouded in an eerie silence that clung to the artificial neon lights. His footsteps echoed through the vacant halls, the hushed whispers of his childhood fears, stirred by the strange occurrences. The shadowy corners of the mall seemed to watch him, beckoning him into an enigma that was older, darker, and far more sinister than any human fraud. The innocent investigation had begun to unfold into a narrative far removed from the humdrum of regular deceit, drawing him closer to the echoes of his own past, even as the ominous presence at the mall began to stir. The lines of his world had begun to blur, leading him into the chilling embrace of the beckoning shadows. In the stark daylight, Cary's Mall was a monument to human ambition, the lifeblood of its community. But as night fell, it was transformed into an enigmatic beast of concrete and glass, full of labyrinthine corridors that seemed to shift and whisper with ancient secrets. Sam found himself irresistibly drawn towards its mystery, his journalistic pursuit merging with an almost primal need to uncover the hidden, to find the lost, as he had once been. His mother's disappearance, a wound that time had dulled but not healed, spurred him forward through the echoes of his own past and into the ominous heart of the mall. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped beneath the horizon and painted the world in hues of twilight, he found himself in the mall's grimy maintenance room. Tucked away behind rusted pipes and forgotten brooms was an old leather-bound journal that had seen better days. It was a relic of the past, abandoned and left to the ravages of time. The journal belonged to the mall's architect, a man whose name had been lost in the depths of history, but whose obsession with the occult had been immaculately preserved within these pages. "This place is not mere architecture," the journal read in fevered scrawls. "It is a beacon, a conduit for the ancient powers that dwell in the spaces between the stars." His mind reeled. The words on the pages twisted reality into a grotesque caricature of itself, revealing a world unseen. The fraud he was investigating no longer seemed an act of human greed, but rather a frantic bid to contain an unfathomable horror. His meetings with Sarah became more frequent, as she represented an island of normalcy amidst the growing storm. As they shared hushed conversations over hastily brewed coffee, he learned more of the mall's strange occurrences. Her stories of flickering lights and sudden chills echoed the architect's disturbing entries, adding layers of dread to his understanding. But it was in one such meeting that Sarah, her face pale as a ghost, revealed her most troubling experience yet. "Sam," she whispered, eyes wide with fear, "things are disappearing. People too." As he ventured further through the veil, Carrie's quaint charm began to twist. There was a tangible change in the air, a bitter taste on the tongue of every resident, a dread they could not put into words. Beneath the peaceful veneer of the town, he could feel a rumbling, an ancient evil beginning to stir. In the quiet aftermath of Sarah's revelation, he found himself alone in the vast expanse of the mall. As he walked its length, he felt the eyes of the unseen upon him. The truth of the journal and the reality of the mall twisted together in a dance as old as time itself. The mall, the heart of Carrie, was no mere building, but a conduit to something ancient, powerful, and infinitely horrifying. His once simple investigation of fraud has morphed into a struggle for understanding against an unimaginable horror. It was a struggle that would test the limits of his sanity and push him further into the maw of the cosmic unknown. A struggle that would carry him headlong into the eye of madness. Sam's world was now woven with a fabric of terror that was both alien and ominously familiar. His nights became twisted labyrinths of nightmares. The town of Carrie, once a beacon of tranquil suburban life, had become the stage for a malevolent play, its residents unknowing actors in a cosmic horror drama. The mall's architecture in the pallid moonlight morphed into monstrous shapes. The once bright and welcoming glass doors now resembled the gaping maw of an ancient leviathan. The overhead lights seemed to mimic the terrible stare of otherworldly eyes, and the hallways twisted and turned like the innards of a slumbering beast. At night, he was haunted by images of gods beyond comprehension, creatures that dwelled in the black spaces between stars, their forms an affront to human sanity. He would wake up in cold sweat, the echoes of their alien language lingering on his lips, his mind buzzing with symbols from the architect's journal. The daily facade of normalcy was shattered. Mysterious power outages, unexplained illnesses, and most unsettlingly, a growing list of disappearances began to plague Carrie. The epicenter of this pandemonium was unmistakably the mall, once a symbol of prosperity, now an emblem of an insidious terror. His conversations with Sarah grew fraught with underlying tension. "Sam," she whispered during one of their clandestine meetings, her voice trembling, "the mall's alive. It breathes, it watches, it takes." Her confession hung in the air between them, like the haunting refrain of a forgotten dirge. The deeper he ventured into the mystery, the more it seemed to feed on the town's fear and his own. The very air within the mall felt dense, the silence pregnant with a waiting, watching dread. Yet in the midst of this mounting terror, he found within himself an unwavering determination, a need to pull back the final veil and expose the heart of the horror that had enshrouded the town. Sam stood at the threshold of the unknowable, the horrifying heart of the mall looming over him. Its presence was a storm of malevolence, a symphony of alien thoughts and intentions that resided in spaces no human mind should wander. It was a presence that throbbed with otherworldly life and pulsed with ancient power. He found himself confronted by an entity that existed outside human comprehension. It spanned dimensions beyond understanding, a terrible, awe-inspiring testament to the infinite chaos of existence. Amidst the roiling terror, Sam clung to the one thing that remained steadfastly human: his determination. The same will that had driven him to unearth fraud now propelled him against the ancient horror. He used his understanding of the architect's notes, twisted sigils, and incomprehensible diagrams to navigate the labyrinthine corridors of the mall. Each step was a battle, a defiance against the palpable dread that sought to engulf him. In a desperate act, he exploited a fundamental weakness in the mall's design, a flaw that the architect had unintentionally overlooked. The mall groaned and trembled as he initiated a sequence of actions, a ritualistic countermeasure that disrupted the entity's tether to their reality. His escape was a breathless sprint through shifting corridors, under the malevolent gaze of the awakened entity. Every nerve screamed for him to stop, to succumb, but he was relentless. With a final surge of desperate energy, he broke free from the mall, the night air a cool salve on his sweat-soaked skin. But the escape came at a cost. Though he had banished the entity, it was not defeated. The mall, its facade now an ordinary mirage, hid a dark truth. The horror still lurked in its depths, a slumbering dragon beneath the town of Cary. He left the once serene town, carrying with him the chilling knowledge of what lay hidden beneath everyday reality. His encounter with the cosmic horror had changed him, as it had changed the world he knew. He had tasted the essence of true fear, glimpsed the vast, chaotic abyss of the cosmos, and survived. We appreciate you tuning in. If you fancied the content, show your support with a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to keep up with our eerie adventures. Eldritch Tales Factory has plenty more to offer. Until next time.